Hi, I'm Josh, and this is What's for Dinner, Dad. Actually, today it's What's for Breakfast, Dad, because we're making buttermilk biscuits and sausage patties. These biscuits are a favorite in the house. They're flaky, they're buttery, really delicious, and they go perfectly with sausage patties. We'll make a traditional pork breakfast sausage, and we'll make a turkey breakfast sausage that'll have some sweet and spicy flavors in it as well. Like I said, it's one of our favorite weekend breakfasts in the house. I hope you enjoy.
First step is to take 1 stick of butter and grate it. That's right, we're going to grate it like cheese, just like that, instead of the traditional cubing method, because this actually gives you smaller pieces of butter that will be easier to crumble up. Set it aside in the freezer. Now to the dry ingredients, and we're going to start with cake flour, which is a softer flour. It has less protein, so we'll do 2 cups or 320 grams, and to that we'll add 2 tablespoons or 26 grams of baking powder and 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of salt, and whisk that together. Then squeeze in 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of honey. Then add the butter to your dry ingredients, and using your fingers, just work the butter into the flour mixture until you have the texture resembling breadcrumbs. Once you're happy with the texture, use your fingers to make a well in the center of your flour mixture. This is the texture you're after, and you see the well we've got there in the middle. That's for the buttermilk. So let's add that buttermilk. We've got 10 ounces, it's about 1 1/4 cups or 300 milliliters, and we'll go about 1/3 the amount at a time. And you see I'm using a knife to sort of draw the flour into the buttermilk. Then I add a little more, and again, just mix a little at a time. Be very careful not to overmix, you want it to be just combined. When all the buttermilk has been added to your flour mixture, it'll look like this, very shaggy, and then you can turn it out onto a floured work surface. Working gently with a rolling pin, roll your dough out to about 9 inches by 5 inches. Then you're going to execute a book fold, which means you take about 1/3 of the dough and fold it toward the center, and then fold the other third on top. Then flip the dough over and do it again. Now, using a bench scraper that's got a ruler on it, I'll measure out my dough so I can cut even pieces. You can also do this with a pizza cutter or even a knife. I like to use this method instead of a traditional round biscuit cutter, because then I don't end up wasting any dough. I've cut my dough into 12 parts and arranged them on a baking sheet with a Silpat mat or lined with parchment. Then I'll add 1 egg to a tablespoon of buttermilk and whisk together to make an egg wash. Then, using a pastry brush, I will lightly brush my egg wash with buttermilk on the top of each of my biscuits. My biscuits will go into a 425-degree oven for 13 to 15 minutes, and I'm going to make sure to turn them halfway through. This makes sure that they bake evenly, and I can also make sure that they're not browning too fast. And this is what the finished product looks like. Set them on a wire rack so they can cool. You also want to double check the bottom to make sure that it's been fully baked. Now for the sausage patties. I've got 1/2 pound of ground pork, and I'm going to add my sausage spice mixture to it, mix it together, and then measure out equal parts to make 4 patties. It's going to be roughly 59 grams. And I haven't shown you how to make that spice mixture for the sausage. That's going to be 1 teaspoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of maple syrup for your sweet and spicy turkey sausage, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of ground sage, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg, and then 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper for your spicy mixture. Stir it together, then add to a 1/2 pound of ground turkey. I used 85% fat, 15% lean for this. Mix well, and then repeat the process from the pork, 59-gram balls, and set it aside on a sheet tray. It's time to cook your sausage patties. So take a skillet and heat it over medium-high heat, and put a couple of sausage balls in the pan, then press down on them with your spatula and another object like a wooden spoon to flatten them out. You want to get them to about 4 inches. That's about the same size as your biscuits. Once they're flattened out, cook them for 3 minutes on this side. As a note, cast iron works the best here. After 2 to 3 minutes, it's time to turn them over. You've got some nice browning there, so turn them and then cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. Then remove them from the pan and set them on a plate with a paper towel to drain. There's our turkey, and here's our pork. You know, the thing that would really tie this sandwich together is a fried egg. So I'm going to gently heat some butter in a smaller pan over medium-low heat, then crack an egg into a separate bowl, and then carefully pour it in to my smaller pan. Swirl it around just so I can center the yolk. And then cover it over medium heat for about 90 seconds. And there, I've got a perfectly cooked sunny side up egg. It's ready to slide out of the pan. Just like that. To assemble, carefully split your biscuit in half. They're so tender that you can use a butter knife like I did here. Go ahead and season your egg always after when you cook a sunny side up. Then lay your sausage patties on the biscuit and carefully lay the egg on top of the sausage. Then top the sandwich with the biscuit. And there you are, 2 sausage biscuit sandwiches to make a perfect Saturday or Sunday morning. The final step is to cut it in half and enjoy the oozy, delicious greatness of your sunny side up egg and your sausage patty and your buttermilk biscuit. Look at that.
And that's going to do it for this edition of What's for Breakfast, Dad. We made those buttermilk biscuits with the sausage patties, and then we decided to top them with that fried egg. So we've basically made a really awesome breakfast sandwich here. Let's give it a taste. You can see right here, we've got our layers of the biscuit here, soaking up all this delicious egg yolk, and this is our pork sausage. Let's give this a taste. I'm really excited. This tastes like the weekend to me. Absolutely delicious. The flavors from the sausage come right through, and then they're kind of coated in the richness and the velvetiness of the egg yolk, and it's all just kind of soaked up and anchored by the buttermilk biscuit. I hope you enjoy. This is just the most awesome weekend thing you can have, in my opinion. I'm Josh, and this is What's for Dinner, Dad.
If you found this episode helpful, saw something useful, or want to try a recipe, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow on social media for updates and to ask questions. I'm Josh, and this is What's for Dinner, Dad.